There was a poll at the start of the summer of New Jersey residents asking them if they believe their governor, Chris Christie, would make a good president. In that poll, New Jersey voters, by a huge margin, said that Chris Christie would not make a good president. More than 30 points. Now, this was at the beginning of the summer. This was kind of a long time ago now. But this still stands as one of the single greatest moments that has happened on tape in the whole presidential campaign so far. This was in response to that poll, and it was so freaking spectacular. Watch.
The polls in New Jersey right now say by a 65 to 29% margin, the New Jersey voters say you would not make a good president. Now, they know you the best. Why shouldn't we trust them?
They want me to stay. A lot of those people in that 65% want me to stay. And I've heard that from lots of people at town hall meetings. Don't leave to run for president because we want you to stay.
But they say you would not make a good president.
No, I think people hear the question they want to hear.
No. The question was, would Chris Christie be a bad president? And people in New Jersey said, yeah, Chris Christie would be a bad president. It was very, very straightforward. I think people didn't. They wanted me to. Amazing. That happened at the very beginning of the summer. Chris Christie telling Fox News it was all just a misunderstanding. People actually wanted him to stay. That turns out to be something that can be checked, that assertion by him today. That assertion by him in that interview. Monmouth University in New Jersey decided to check what Chris Christie said in that interview. They followed up a few weeks later in a way that was specifically designed to clarify whether or not Chris Christie was right when he said that people in New Jersey saying he would make a bad president, they were only saying that because they liked him so much and they wanted him to stay. They decided to check that. Monmouth went back and polled on the baseline question first. They asked New Jersey residents, do you think Chris Christie would or would not make a good president? And again, a huge majority of New Jersey residents, I mean a really huge, this time by more than a 40-point margin, people in New Jersey said Chris Christie would not make a good president. But then, crucially, they asked the follow-up. They asked everybody who said Chris Christie would not make a good president, they then asked them this follow-up question. Quote, do you say that because you would rather have Chris Christie stay in New Jersey? Or because you really think he would make a bad president? Turns out they really did mean it. It was not just that they wanted him to stay. They really, really, really think that Chris Christie would make a bad president. For sure.
They want me to stay.
Oh, they do not want you to stay. We checked, actually. They don't want you to stay. That was the Monmouth University poll, which checked that question for Chris Christie earlier this summer. It was very funny. Well, now Monmouth University is polling on Chris Christie and his presidential chances in New Hampshire, which he has identified as key to his presidential campaign. Chris Christie, it turns out, finds the fact that Monmouth University is polling in New Hampshire. He finds that very annoying.
I've never paid attention to Monmouth Poll in New Jersey. I've never paid, and by the way, it's the Monmouth University poll. Anybody who don't care? I think nationally people are on the edge of their seat waiting for the Monmouth University poll to come out. And please, stop. And it's funded by a former liberal owner of the Asbury Park Press. So, you know, I mean, there are polls and there are polls, guys.
That was Chris Christie yesterday complaining about that stupid poll. Today, he was still mad about it.
Governor, you have said that Donald Trump hurts the credibility of the party. He was talking about entitlements. You say he hurts the credibility of the party. But right now, you look at the polls, for instance, the Monmouth County College poll from New Jersey, looking at New Hampshire. He is at 24%. You're at 4%.
Yeah, so what's that mean exactly? What's that got to do with what he's talking about? I mean, I don't understand. I know that there are lots of folks who are obsessed with polls right now, but that has nothing to do with the credibility of some of the things that he said. I was asked a direct question at a town hall, and I gave a direct answer. That's what I do. But no one asked about polls except for you guys.
Nobody asked about that poll. What? Nobody cares. Chris Christie really hates the Monmouth University poll. And that poll does show him doing really terribly right now in New Hampshire. He's polling at 8th place in New Hampshire. In the latest Monmouth University poll, he's got 4% support. honestly, he's not doing much worse in that particular poll in New Hampshire than he's doing in all the other New Hampshire polls. They've all got him around 4 or 5% pretty consistently in all the New Hampshire polls that are coming out right now. 4, 6, 5, 5. Those are the most recent 4 New Hampshire polls. Those numbers are terrible for somebody who's staking their whole presidential campaign on their appeal in New Hampshire.